Welcome to Getting into the Truth in This Art. I am your host, Rob Lee. And today I have the privilege of speaking to a Baltimore-based photographer, Ismael Quezada. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much, Rob. Happy to be here.
Happy to have you here. So let's talk about work. Let's talk about your work. Get into it. Give me the rundown. What's the work like? Okay. Describe your work for the fine folks out there.
Describing my work. Okay.
Put you on a spot to begin the show.
Yeah, right off the bat. Well, I feel like my main goal is taking pictures of genuine moments and genuine people. I started shooting back in the summer of 2019. So that July 2019 to be exact.
Okay.
And so I've been shooting for 2 years.
Yeah.
And it was honestly all thanks to a good friend of mine. Her name is Erin Yasmin. She's a photographer herself. I know right now with everything with COVID, things are, rough for everybody. She was like a concert photographer. Like she does the whole 9 yards, video, everything.
Yeah.
And we went to a thrift store in Philly because my friend had a show there. And I found this camera there. Oh,
you put out the classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is like my baby. I use her all the time. It's a Minolta Freedom Zoom 140EX. If anybody is curious. But yeah, my style is just capturing moments as they are, capturing people as they are, and yeah.
So. See, now I'm going to try to free jazz a little bit here because you started it off. So it's almost a perfect segue for this next question. Mm-hmm. So I would imagine social media has been pretty big for photographers and such to kind of showcase some of your work and so on. So at the same time, we know that social media is very fake. So how are you able to balance what your ethos is and your work with a medium like that, with using social media maybe as a part of what you're putting out there? Okay.
So that's, I feel like when I run into artists, I actually ran into someone the other day, and they were telling me how they haven't put out something in like 2 years, right?
Yeah.
And I think this was the first time that I met her, and I was like, her name is Audrey. I think Average Income on Instagram, and her work is phenomenal. I love all her work, and she was like, I haven't put out anything in 2 years. I think this was my first time meeting her, and I'm like on the point that you're saying, social media it's instant gratification. You you feel like you need to be seen at all times, and I feel like for photographers that's tough. I don't know if I want to say especially for film photographers, but maybe in the sense that I take a picture, I have to wait whenever I can to develop it and scan it, or even have the funds to do that.
Yeah.
So but with digital,
more instantaneous.
Boom, it's right there. You want to see it? I just took it right here. Yeah. So, social media, I feel like distorts people's view and makes it seem like, you took that picture. I need to see it now, or I need to be out there because so and so just did this, and so it's tough. It's tough, but I feel like I have a pretty good head on my shoulders, and I feel like people pick that up as well.
Yeah, because I think with some of the stuff I've gone through, because I do a deep dive through people's stuff, got that dossier together, and it doesn't come off like the images don't come off as contrived or anything along those lines. Like, oh no, you're actually catching real moments, so what have you, and so it definitely comes through in your work.
I appreciate that.
Oh, totally. So, So you touched on what it's about, right? Capturing the real.
Exactly, capturing the real.
What other things do you want people to kind of take from your work? What other things that you might have in there of I'm going to shoot this person in this place or this location because in this timely way? What do you want people to really take out of it outside of what you've already touched on?
I feel like one of the main things, I hope my work brings people joy. people, I feel like, that's been the case. Like people are like, oh, it's taking a picture of me, or it's just here. Let me get a picture of it. But I want overall just when people see me or see my work that, it brings people joy. That's my main goal.
That's good. So authenticity and joy.
Yeah.
I get you.
That's the beauty of life, right?
And doing it here, being a photographer that's based here, where people don't touch on it, like outside of here, right? People don't touch on those. They touch on the realness, but they touch on it in this kind of gritty, kind of like, this is kind of sad, but not really the joy side of things.
Yeah.
So speak on that. Why was that important for you?
To touch on that, I feel like Baltimore, people love, for lack of a better word, people love exploiting Baltimore. People love, The Wire. Everybody
talk that talk.
I mean, it. People when they think of Baltimore, outside of Baltimore, they're like, "Oh, you mean The Wire, where The Wire's from, or things like that." And I think The Exorcist, that was in DC, I think. Like that was like Georgetown. DC, yeah. But you know what I mean? Like people just think like just sadness and the worst out of things. Yeah. And, the Baltimore art scene, there is much more to it. And the people that I've met, that I've come across are great. And the things that they create are amazing. I'm inspired by Baltimore all the time.
That's what we want to hear. That's what we like to hear.
Yeah.
Because it's, I think it's very much a community here, and kind of the exchanges we've had is definitely, it's like, yo, you know this person, you don't know this person, you don't know this person, come on man, we don't know this person. Exactly. I think that's big, and people in that same way of looking at realness, people know when you're not doing the right thing or what have you. So in going into it, like when you're working on, like, I'm going to do some shooting today. Like, what does that shoot schedule look like? How are you framing that out? And in addition to that, what draws you to, like, I want to take pictures of this? What draws you to it?
Okay.
See, told you I was going to free jazz it.
Yeah, it was good. So what's my planning process and what draws me to shoot certain people? Okay. My planning process is, I feel like lately I've been doing a good bit of client work, like people reaching out to me. And, I think these coming weeks or this coming month even, I should try to hone in on, what does Ish want to do? What would Ish like? But, for people that reach out to me, what really helps is if they have an idea. A lot of people, they're just like, they see my work and they're like, oh, I want a picture just like that, or, something like that. And it's like,
you don't look like that.
not even you don't look like that, but it's like, it's hard to recreate a moment that, maybe it was at an event or, a shoot with somebody else. Like, and for me, I don't want to make the same things over and over again. So I can say lately I feel like I've been, expanding and doing different things. So I definitely like at least like a week or two of planning where are we going to be, day, night, inside a studio, what have you.
I just realized I would be a troll if I was like being a client's like, look, I want to do this in an abandoned warehouse. The moonlight. It's like anything that just makes the degree of difficulty so challenging. It's like, you gotta earn your money here. And but yeah, going to what you were saying, because I don't want to leave off on that. And I'll let you finish your point. But I think when I used to go and approach photographers in that manner of like, yo, I have no idea what I want to do.
Right.
And as I've kind of started doing this podcast more, and it's like, do you have any idea in mind?
Yeah.
It's like something, and then kind of go from there. But I think, especially from how you were describing your work, if you're doing something that is like my secret sauce, if you will, is having something that looks real, authentic, and all of that, it's like recreating this for someone else. That's the antithesis of that.
Right.
It's like, oh yeah, let's just stage this same shoot.
Right.
Like, no,
it's not how it works. Right. Yeah. No, exactly. So, I lost my train of thought.
No. So in it, the process is like you need that schedule. You need to like have a few weeks in mind or what have you, and then from there, like what stands out that you're looking for? Because I remember speaking with, this episode hasn't aired yet actually, with another photographer. I'm not going to name him because I don't know when this episode's going to air. He'd mentioned just when he's like shooting like a subject or what have you, he tries to do his damnedest to connect with them to get an idea. For sure. Because he wants to get those real like, okay, you laughing? Okay, snap, snap, snap. Yeah. So speak on that. Like, yeah. Yeah.
So, well, one thing I did want to say is that what helps is if they, like you were saying, if you don't have any clue on what you're trying to, get captured, any type of idea helps. Anything, any type of example or like mood board, as people say.
Want to be dressed as a Dalmatian, go on.
Right, exactly. And then, if you have just like one idea, I usually just bounce off of that and we move from there. That is a huge help. Yeah. But back to your point of whoever that photographer is.
You might know them. You might know them.
I'm in agreement with that. I do like having a connection with them. Like it would be nice to like if we could meet up before a shoot. Yeah. I don't think I've ever done that, but like establishing a connection, like I don't know, let's go on a walk. Let's go out for drinks, or let's eat something. Let me get to know you or get a little bit background on you. I feel like that's super helpful because that's real, like you actually getting to know someone. So, and that's something that photography has helped a lot, meeting people and, getting to know them.
Well, speaking of getting to know, I think that's relevant too, even in this medium, right? Where we're recording at the lovely big improv studios.
I love it.
Bitcoin Podcast Studios is the name of this place. That's literally the name of it.
That's awesome.
But I think like having that Zoom fatigue, and it's like I used to just turn off the screen, like the camera, and just have like disembodied head of me because it's like I'm not there. Yeah. So, and it just loses that personal thing. And I find like a lot of times either me or a guest I'll have, it's like, you want to get a drink after this or something? It's like, yeah, sure. And it's like scheduling another date, and it feels like structured more than like organic, and just like that spontaneity is gone. Right. And even in the type of conversation one might have, you could just be sitting there and the connection isn't as they are the same way it would be if it was in person ultimately. So being able to do this one in person and other ones in person, it's a different energy that's there. And that's big, I think. Yeah. I think that's really big, especially when you may be having conversations with someone that, I know you artist types are sensitive about your shit, as it were.
Are you not an artist?
I am no one. No, but I know that the artist types, I am as well. We're sensitive about what we do. So in having a conversation that might be vulnerable or talking about blah, say blah, that goes back into what your stuff is, you're like, oh man, I wish I did that in person. Put this microphone off or what have you and have a second. So I think in person it's different. And people remark like, do you know these people before you interview? I was like, no, often I don't. It's like, wow, how are you getting these interviews out of? I was like, I don't know. Questions? I don't know. Shit. I just have a really well-crafted character that I play.
Before we started, I was going to ask, did you do radio or something? Did you do something before podcasting?
I did radio once at Morgan. Okay. It was, what is it, like business talk, two-way talk or something like that back in the day. But I've been podcasting for almost 13 years. So that's a big chunk of it. Wow. Yeah. And they've been secretly trying to get me to do improv. We'll see.
So comedy?
Yeah, because I do a comedy podcast too. I'll share it with you.
Okay, yeah. For sure.
So let speak on, so you're doing all film or primarily film?
All my work is film.
So speak on the advantages. So speak on film versus digital advantages, disadvantages, all of that stuff. Give me that breakdown on why you're in that space, because you teased it a little bit, that instantaneous thing. So speak on it a little bit.
So I mean, first off, I want to just say I don't have any qualms with any.
Have some flex bombs go off.
No,
Yeah,
not at all. No, yeah,
digital trash. It's like, whoa, ish. Oh my gosh.
No, I love all types of work, digital, film, what have you. If it's, I guess, pleasing to the eye, if I like it, whatever way you took that picture or, even edited to get that image, I love it. So I'm definitely not like, oh, film is
The
over
photographers
everything.
are turning this episode off like, fuck this.
No. What I will say is that I've been noticing, and I feel like a lot of photographers have been seeing, or just probably everyone in general, that a lot of people are going for like a film feel. Like people that do digital, sometimes, or you'll notice that it looks, they'll try to go that it looks like it was taken on film. And even for like videographers, they want to make it seem like it was on Super 8 or something like that.
Impersonators.
So I feel like right now film is in a really good place. The unfortunate part about that is I feel like there's a lot of people trying to exploit that because I feel like a camera like this, luckily, I think I did say this camera I got for $2 in a thrift store.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it's that's my baby. That's my pride and joy.
This investment has rolled over so many times. Let's go.
But I feel like I see cameras go for like $100, like something like this if it was like on eBay, just way more than the original price than it was when it first came out. Things like that. Film itself, I feel like, and I could be wrong, was much cheaper back in the day.
I almost want to start sponsoring photographers and just like, yo, can I just buy film for you? I literally wanted to do that. And I was like, hold on.
That's a lot of photographers.
I was like, it's fine.
But so yeah, those are some of the disadvantages.
Because how much does film cost, like, or is, like, range? Because I know it's like different types or what have you, but what's that range look like? Because I have no context.
So film, like, let's say, I need film. I was told yesterday or this morning, hey, I have something. I'm really sorry that I'm just letting you know, but I have an event tonight at 7. Can you do it? Maybe we'll be able to work something out, but most likely, let's say if it's Sunday or what have you, Walgreens, they'll have a 3-pack of, Kodak or I think Fuji, a 3-pack for like $23. But it's just like your generic, this is what it is. But if you go to like an actual photo store, one roll could easily be like 10, 12, $13.
Put in weed terms, It's like, how many dimes is that? What do you got here?
Yeah,
I can start sponsoring photographers now. I feel like this is a thing.
This is very lucrative.
But I would imagine the other side of it is like, so are you developing your own stuff or are you having it developed?
I take it to a lab currently.
Okay. Yeah.
I would like to learn myself how to do it, but in the back of my mind, and it's always like you just got to start, then you'll get better. But I feel like I'm doing too much where I can't, like, I don't have time to, let me take a roll, let me test this shot, and then let me go try and develop it, and then it not come out. You know what I mean? Or like, let's say I had a shoot and was like, oh, I had this shoot. Let me try and develop this myself. And then I lose that work. It would be nice. I do definitely want to learn. That's definitely on my bucket list.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like film is it's expensive.
I want to have my photo taken with like hieroglyphics or something. I want to go that far back. It's much warmer.
Somebody
just chiseling like, yeah, get it. Let's go. It's like, yeah, it's rock Rob right there. Yeah. No, I think that's that. I go back to this clip and I want to be in a spot. It'll never happen, but I want to be in a spot where I can do this. It was this old. I think it was an interview. It was an NBA interview, and they were like seeing photographers, and it was for like the All-Star game or something. And I just remember like they said Tracy McGrady was on some shit like, look, you got 5 shots. We're leaving after that. 5, and that's it. And I was like, he's clearly shooting with film. I was like, because he's gonna make them good because of that whole like, look, we can't redo this. I can't take 1,000 of these. You got 5, and I'm leaving. Grab my ball, leave.
Wait, this was a basketball player talking to a photographer? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
He was like, and he had like the other, so I guess these are all like the prominent all-stars that were on Adidas. So it's like him, Tim Duncan, maybe Dwight Howard. And it was like these all-star guys. It's like, we're not going to be here all day.
Right.
And, you know, Tracy McGrady was like, look, we're 5 and gone. And I was like, yo.
Wow.
And you know, some of the people I've talked to that like are digital, and they'll say, "Oh yeah, I'll like to take like 200 shots." It's like,
like 200.
Did you get it?
Yeah, that's a lot. That is a lot.
So you're so would it be fair to say you take more of that kind of what is it? They say with like carpenters, it's like measure twice and then cut once.
Yeah.
When you're kind of framing out a shot or looking at what you're going to do.
I try to. It's for a shoot like in a studio or a planned type of shoot, that is a little bit easier, for sure. But for events, like let's say, you know, a concert, somebody's having a show, that's definitely difficult. Sometimes you just gotta shoot and pray. But
shoot and pray. Wow. Okay, fair.
But no, for sure, it's definitely, I feel like with film, and maybe that's been a benefit for me, is that you try to be more mindful because you only have, you know, a roll. Depending on which roll, you only either have 24 or 36 shots. So that's it. That's one roll. And, you know, not even going into how much it costs to develop that roll, but
back end money. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Yeah.
But yeah, it's just it's about being mindful, and I feel like that has helped me a lot. You know, focusing and definitely working on, you know, taking the quote unquote perfect shot.
So film photographers, they have revolvers, and digital photographers, they have like the wild extended banana clip.
Machine gun.
The rail gun, just like throw the strap over your shoulders. Like, sorry, they have lasers actually. It never runs out. So, what would you say? Maybe some or one, but what sticks out as a very significant visual moment for you? Like something that you're like, damn, I really wish I caught that, or this was a great shot that I got. What sticks out to you visually?
So lately, I feel like a lot more often, it's the times that I don't have my camera where I'm just like looking at, where I'm looking at either like a building or, you know, people, and I'm like, man, I find I catch that a lot more often. Like, man, I really wish I would have had my camera for that, or, you know, what have you. So now I'm making sure I like carry a bag on me at all times and always have my camera on me. But something that I was like, wow, I can't believe I did that, or, you know, something I'm really proud of. If you did your deep dive, like you said,
maybe.
there's a picture. There's a few pictures of this model. Her name is Mackenzie, and I think this was around September or October last year. And it was like there was these like rocks right before a river. It was like a huge body of water, and then behind her there's this little like aisle of like forest trees, and it looks I'm really proud of that picture.
That's great.
I need to print that out eventually and I put it on one of my walls, or if somebody wants to, let me know. It's something I'm really proud of. And then actually very recently I shot an album cover.
Say more.
It's coming out soon. I don't think I'm able
Don't
to
say more then. Say less.
I don't think I'm able to disclose too much.
That
but
NDA is just like just over your head. You're like, ah, shit.
But yeah, I shot actually 2 album covers this year. Very blessed to be able to say that. But this one that the shoot that we just had, it was last Sunday actually. Mm-hmm. The pictures that we got, the artist's name is Betty. Okay. I can say that. Her name is Betty. She came out with her first single, I think last week too, as well. And it's called Me Time. And yeah, I'm very...
Just going to let you keep talking. And so it's like, yeah, the name of the album is like...
I'm very lucky to have worked with her. And yeah, I can't wait for everybody to see that.
That's great. So, segue, right? Mm-hmm. Music. You touched on it. You know, you're working with it in that way. But I read that you're also a singer and a musician, right?
Yeah.
A little bit of that deep dive there.
Yeah.
So, speak on some of your... photographic, and I always run that weirdly. I was going to say photographic. Photographic's the word. Photographic and non-photographic influences. Like, you know, you're in 2 realms that kind of can merge at times. But so I would imagine like if you're doing something like I need to have this visual that makes sense for what I'm doing from that standpoint musically. So speak on some of those influences in both of those realms. Okay.
So first off, if you are a film photographer or honestly a digital, any type of photographer, videographer, film, digital photographer, videographer in Baltimore, you are my hero. I am inspired by you, and you know.
Way to win them back, Ish. Way to win them back.
No, seriously. That if you work in that medium in this city, most likely, I know of you and your work, and I'm a huge fan.
Salute on that.
Yeah. And, I mean, in the city alone, there's so many. I mean, there's Devin Allen, there's Rico, there's Thug Mom, Davina Gracia, Anna. I mean, I could go on and on. Rodeska, Timmy. There's so many people here in the city, photographers, videographers, that I am truly inspired by. Now for like outside of photography, I would say I'm a huge Salvador Dali fan.
Okay.
I love his work.
Very quotable. Very quotable individual there.
I love surrealism. Yeah. For music, I'm a fan of old school soul music.
Okay.
I love soul music. Like that's like when I would sing, that is I wish I could, like, for example, Sam Cooke.
Yeah.
I'm gonna blank out names when I
Otis Redding actions.
Otis.
Yeah.
I love 90s R&B, but again, who doesn't?
I mean, frankly, I do not.
Oh, well,
no, I'm kidding. Because that's my genre.
So, I mean, I'm a huge on like nostalgia, the 90s. Yeah, I love it.
I feel like if you were like born in the middle of a decade, like I was born in the middle of the 80s. Mm-hmm. So I look back and I'm like, all right, I'm not going to go before like 1980. It's rare in terms of like music or pop culture. I have this running bit. I have weird shit with numbers. I'll share 2 with you. I used to have this thing. I used to have sayings. You mentioned Dolly, and I said he had like sayings. I have a saying, especially in the winter, I won't leave out if the temperature is lower than my age. I won't go outside. So
who said that?
I did.
Oh,
so if the
okay.
temperature is less than 36 degrees, I'm not going outside. And the other one was, if this movie came out before I was born, I won't watch it. And my girlfriend, she's like, well, I guess we're not watching The Wiz. I guess it's just like a litany of things. It's like I have a pop culture like blind spot because I won't go before 1985.
Oh my god.
It's ridiculous, but I stick to it.
Why?
Just because it's me
It's just-
being a
that's-
villain.
Okay. I respect it. I
Just like
respect
I'm disrespecting people's genre. It's like, Star Wars came out in 1977. Literally my energy.
it. Hey, that's funny.
So tell me about the beautiful people of Baltimore. Mm-hmm. I may have lived with people who are in this publication of sorts.
Yes.
So speak
It's
on that a
still-
bit. And where was my invite? How dare you?
It it was definitely not an invite type of situation. It's going back to when I started shooting back in 2019.
Yeah.
So it's something that it's crazy, like while I was shooting these events and from 2019 onwards, I was like, I should. What would a 365-day project look like? And I know right now it's on a, I was gonna say small hiatus, but it's been a little bit. But that's something that I am bringing back, hopefully before the summer's up.
Yeah.
And it was just honestly, like, we were saying in the beginning of this, it's just as I was going. It wasn't like planned or
I get you,
anything
yeah.
like that. Before COVID, I was actually thinking of almost kind of, because people bring it up, on the almost in the same key of, what is it? It's like New York. What is it? People of New York.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's not. I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Because it's just capturing people in their element.
Right. Yeah. That I did have that
Humans
thought.
of New York, I think.
Yes. Yeah. Humans in New York. Some people have brought that up. Where I was going to just walk the streets of Baltimore.
Yeah.
Someone who I've never met ever, and ask them if it was okay if I took their picture, take a few shots, and then ask them, what are your thoughts on Baltimore? What do you love about Baltimore?
Mm-hmm.
Something in that key, or do you have a story
Yeah.
that you love to tell about Baltimore? So something like that. That was the original idea, and maybe once I'm done with this one, I am definitely open to bringing that back up, and and of course whenever COVID's gone.
I think people would be receptive to it because I did a thing back in it came out in February with NXPA, and it was like giving folks their roses, like going to like strangers in Baltimore, like, yo, we just want to show you we appreciate you. Here's a rose, and it was
that on Valentine's Day?
Yeah. So
love that.
I was digitally there, but not really because you're a star, you're not really popping up anywhere. Just let my ego grow instantaneous. But yeah, I think that's dope actually. And I think that would be something that really just highlights what's out here. It's like this is a real peek into what what different scenes look like, what different communities look like, what people look like. And I think of like some of the stuff that Sydney Allen was doing, and like capturing that nightlife scene or what have you, and some of the work that she was doing. So yeah, definitely that's great.
Yeah.
So last thing I have, it's not really a question, it's more of an invite.
Okay.
And it kind of connects to what you were describing, what you were doing, what you want to do rather. Talk to people like, yo, tell me about Baltimore. So here's your opportunity to do what you ask people to do. So give me that, give me talk that talk. Baltimore, like, yo, for all you dicks that don't think it's worth coming to, or what is Baltimore from your vantage point? That's the more clean, polished version of that question. I was getting a little too East Baltimore there for a second.
What is Baltimore to me?
Yeah.
Well, obviously Baltimore's home to me. But Baltimore to me is, honestly, I see Baltimore in the same light as people see like New York, LA, you know, especially right now. I feel like Baltimore, people love Baltimore. Even though I feel like on Twitter or anywhere,
shit talking that goes on there.
Anywhere on social media, they're like, "Oh, this is how they talk." Oh, what have you? But
yeah, what of it?
You know what I mean? There is so much talent here, and it kind of, some people that live here, or honestly, some people that live here, they'll say like, "Oh, I gotta go to California, or I gotta go to New York to accomplish whatever." But it's like, you could honestly do that here. Yeah. I think the city is great. There's definitely, some work to be done. And I think people like yourself, myself included, and so many others in this scene, we can do a lot of good. And I think right now, in the year 2021, 2022, like, we have some work cut out for us, but I think we can do a lot of good. And yeah, there's some work to do, but we can do it. It's possible.
I agree. I think it's accessible here to be able to do that. And I think it's one of those things where it's almost like I'm going to make another comparison to sports. It's like when a team is used to not like winning or not having that spotlight, they don't really know what to do with it sometimes. It's, you now have it. What are you going to do with it? That's the thing that I always look at. When people are like, I haven't had this opportunity. Cool. It's right there in front of you. What are you going to do with it? And I think things are accessible here. It's just like, all right, at least the attention is around. And it may not be in the way that a lot of people want it in terms of, we need more funding here. Well, are you applying for grants? No, but I need more funding. It's like, what do you want? And I think you're absolutely right, though. I think people just need to get out of that context, or the idea that we can't do it. I think we can. Yeah. And once that first domino falls, then the other one's coming right behind it. And that's what it was like, having conversations with people about like sponsors and things like that. Once the first person gets it, people talk. Baltimore's that small that when people talk, your reputation is out there, and that's who you are. You're attached to it. Word to the 48 laws of power. So that's all I have. Where can they find you out? Where can they check you out?
They can find
website,
me.
Social media, all that stuff. Yeah.
They can find me on Instagram.
Social security number. Yeah, more.
Credit card number.
Like, wow. Is he stealing his identity on a podcast? Yeah.
That's what this is your
There's been a scheme for that.
Exactly.
Yes.
For 13 years.
Yeah.
You have all these identities.
That's great.
But no, people can find me on Instagram, Datishcray, DATISHCRAY. I kept it.
Yes, you did.
That's what it is.
Yes, you did.
Also on Twitter, same thing, except the I is a 1 because somebody else has Datishcray, unfortunately. I'll make a website soon. I'm working on it. But yeah, that's where I'm at. And yeah.
We're going to send you some money for film. So thank you so much, Ish. I am going to wrap this up. So I'm Rob Lee, saying that there's art and pictures being taken in and around Baltimore. You just got to look for it.